Sha'Carri.
Hi, I'm Sha'Carri Richardson.
Sha'Carri Richardson.
Sha'Carri Richardson.
It's an incredible performance from Sha'Carri Richardson.
Sha'Carri Richardson, the world champion.
Beauty and the Beast comes together. I feel like fashion is the flow of the body.
Sha'Carri Richardson was born on March 25, 2000 in Dallas, Texas, a city built on ambition and resilience. From the start, life demanded strength, and Sha'Carri learned early that every stride forward carried weight. Her parents were mostly absent, but her grandmother, Betty Harp, and a supportive aunt became the pillars of her childhood. They gave her the foundation she needed to grow. Betty Harp was more than a caregiver. She was a guide, instilling courage, independence, and survival. Those lessons shaped the runner Sha'Carri would become. In elementary school, her first spark appeared. On the playground, her speed stunned classmates. She wasn't just fast, she was untouchable. Coaches quickly noticed her stride. Explosive, powerful, natural. By middle school, she was already running like someone born to race. At David W. Carter High School, she became a force. By her sophomore year, she was sprinting past older competitors with ease. In 2016, at 16, she won the 100 meters at the AAU Junior Olympics in 11.50 seconds, her breakthrough on the national stage. The following year, she captured the UIL 4A state 100 meters title, cementing her place as Texas's fastest high school sprinter. By 2018, her senior year, she dominated again, defending her 100 meters crown and adding the 200 meters state title. Her personal bests of 11.28 and 23.02 placed her among the nation's elite. But it wasn't only the times that set her apart. It was the aura, bright dyed hair, long nails, and fearless confidence. She turned the track into her stage. Every stride carried her grandmother's lessons. Betty Harp was always there, supporting, guiding, and reminding her of the bigger picture. By graduation, Sha'Carri had built a reputation, fast, fearless, and unapologetically herself. She was courted by top universities, but her ambition led her to Louisiana State University. In 2018, she committed to LSU, marking the end of her high school dominance and the beginning of her collegiate rise. Dallas had witnessed her journey, but now the world was about to see her evolution into one of the fastest women alive. In 2018, Sha'Carri Richardson carried her fire to Baton Rouge, enrolling at Louisiana State University. LSU's track program was legendary, and now it had a freshman whose speed demanded attention. Her arrival wasn't just another recruitment. It was the arrival of a storm, a sprinter from Dallas with neon hair, long nails, and the potential to rewrite history. At LSU, raw talent collided with rigorous training. Every session revealed her explosiveness, her flawless acceleration, and her competitive edge. Coaches and teammates whispered about her potential. She wasn't just fast, she was a once-in-a-generation sprinter. Her freshman season in 2019 was electric. Race after race, she lowered her times, proving that her dominance in high school had been just the beginning. The defining moment came at the 2019 NCAA Outdoor Championships in Austin, Texas. The stadium buzzed as she settled into the blocks for the 100 meters. She exploded out of the start and stormed down the track. The clock stopped at 10.75 seconds, a new collegiate record and the fastest time ever run by a freshman.
Wow, the best time ran in collegiate history.
And a world junior record for the freshman. Whoa!
At just 19 years old, Sha'Carri became the 9th fastest woman in history at that distance. It was more than a victory, it was a declaration. Her day didn't end there. In the 200 meters, she blazed to 22.17 seconds, finishing second, but setting a world under 20 record. 2 world-class performances in a single championship. Sha'Carri had gone from promising freshman to global name in one weekend.
And the 2019 Fireman Award is Sha'Carri Richardson.
The comparisons to Florence Griffith Joyner came quickly. The hair, the nails, the confidence, but also the sheer brilliance on the track. Nicknames followed. The next Flojo, people whispered. But Sha'Carri insisted she was carving her own identity, unapologetically unique.
And it's Sha'Carri. Sha'Carri.
Sha'Carri.
Sha'Carri.
We got it.
The media swarmed. Headlines praised her times, her style, and the fearless way she carried herself. She faced a choice: continue in college or step into the professional arena. It was bold, it was risky, but Sha'Carri chose the leap. Immediately after her NCAA heroics, she announced she was turning professional. She signed her first major sponsorship with Nike, cementing her status as a rising star. Her first year as a pro was a whirlwind. She trained under elite guidance, competed at national meets, and adjusted to the demands of life as a professional athlete. Her performances, her confidence, and her style made her magnetic. Every race felt like a performance, every appearance a statement. By the end of 2019, she was more than a college freshman who had turned pro. She was one of the fastest women alive, and still only a teenager. The bold decision to leave LSU after just one season had paid off. Her records, her Nike deal, and her global recognition proved she was right to trust her instincts. Her rise was rapid, her choices fearless. Sha'Carri Richardson was no longer just a promising athlete. She was the new face of American sprinting. And as 2019 closed, one stage loomed larger than all others: the US Olympic trials, where her speed, resilience, and fire would collide with history. The year was 2021, and the track world was beginning to buzz again after the long pause of the pandemic. For Sha'Carri Richardson, it wasn't just a return, it was a chance to prove that her speed was now world-class. In April, at the Miramar Invitational in Florida, she lined up against seasoned professionals. The starter's pistol fired, and what happened next sent shockwaves across the globe. She crossed the finish line in 10.72 seconds. At just 21 years old, Sha'Carri had become the 6th fastest woman in history at that distance. The time was not just elite, it was historic. It placed her among names like Florence Griffith Joyner, Carmelita Jeter, and Marion Jones. The performance made one thing clear: Sha'Carri Richardson was not just America's future hope, she was already running in the realm of legends. From that moment on, every race she entered carried weight. Every appearance built anticipation for the US Olympic trials in Eugene, Oregon. By June, the nation's attention turned to Hayward Field. The trials were not just another meet, they were the gateway to Tokyo, the Olympic stage she had dreamed of. The heats came first. Sha'Carri blasted through the line in 10.84 seconds, smooth, powerful, and untouchable. It was enough to remind everyone that her Miramar performance was no fluke. In the semifinals, she went even faster, storming down the straightaway in 10.64 seconds. Though aided by a slight tailwind, it was one of the fastest times ever recorded under any conditions. By the time she stepped to the line for the final, the stadium was electric. Fans knew they were about to witness something unforgettable. The gun fired. Sha'Carri's start was explosive, her stride length devouring the track, her arms driving with perfect rhythm. Within seconds, she pulled away from the field. She crossed the finish line in 10.86 seconds. It wasn't her fastest time, but it was the most important. It punched her ticket to the Olympic Games. The crowd erupted. Commentators shouted her name. But Sha'Carri wasn't thinking of headlines. Her eyes were fixed on one person in the stands. She sprinted to her grandmother, Betty Harp, the woman who had raised her, who had been at every meet, every milestone. Their embrace was powerful. Joy, relief, and love wrapped into one moment. But behind her smile, there was pain. Just days earlier, Sha'Carri had learned, through a reporter, that her biological mother had passed away. The news had hit her like a storm. She carried that grief onto the track, channeling heartbreak into pure, blistering speed. In interviews, she didn't hide the truth. She spoke of resilience, of family, and of the struggle to remain composed while mourning in silence. The Olympic dream was now within reach. She had proven she could rise under pressure, shine under the heaviest spotlight, and claim her place as America's sprint queen. Headlines praised her, fans celebrated her. She was hailed as the face of the new generation of US sprinting. But even as the cheers rang loud, a shadow lingered. The story was not finished, and the triumph everyone witnessed was only half the truth. Because just as the world began to embrace Sha'Carri Richardson as its newest star, a revelation was about to emerge that would shake her career and her Olympic dream to its core. The roar of Hayward Field was still echoing when Sha'Carri Richardson's world began to change. Her 10.86 at the Olympic trials had made her America's sprinting star. But within weeks, triumph gave way to turbulence. On July 1st, 2021, the news hit like a thunderclap. Richardson had tested positive for THC. The headlines spread in seconds, and the country that had just celebrated her now fell into stunned silence. She had not taken a banned steroid, nor a performance booster. Instead, she admitted she had turned to marijuana to cope with the sudden death of her biological mother.
Weed is a de-enhancing drug.
The anti-doping agency responded swiftly. A 1-month suspension, retroactive to June 28th, meant she would be stripped of her 100-meter victory at the trials and lose her place in Tokyo. On paper, the sanction was brief. In reality, it shattered the Olympic dream she had chased since she was a child, a dream that had felt finally within reach. For a moment, there was hope. Her ban ended before the games began, which technically left room for the 4x100-meter relay. But on July 6th, USA Track and Field made it official. She would not compete at all. Sha'Carri didn't hide. She faced the cameras with remarkable candor. Her honesty won sympathy.
Banning Sha'Carri Richardson for smoking weed.
Millions saw not just a sprinter, but a young woman grappling with grief, pressure, and a mistake made in the rawest of moments. The voices of legends soon joined the debate. Michael Johnson called the rule antiquated, while Usain Bolt urged her to accept responsibility and prepare for the next chance. Even politicians stepped forward. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and other lawmakers condemned the ban as unjust, while celebrities across culture echoed frustration and disbelief. The spotlight was relentless. Every tweet she posted, every interview she gave, every gesture was amplified into a national discussion about race, fairness, and the rules of sport. Through it all, one voice of support rang clear. Nike released a statement standing by her. "We appreciate Sha'Carri's honesty and accountability and will continue to support her through this time." It was a lifeline. While the Olympic stage slipped away, her commercial power remained intact. Her brand, her personality, her story. They were too powerful to be erased, but the games went on without her. As the 100 meters played out in Tokyo, America's sprint queen watched from afar, a reminder of what could have been. Her absence was glaring. The excitement, the flair, the fire she brought to the track, gone. The event was fast, yes, but it lacked the electricity Sha'Carri carried with her stride. For Sha'Carri, the pain was both personal and public. Her stumble had been broadcast to the world, her fall dissected by millions. And yet, the story didn't end here. Her career was not destroyed, only tested. The question was not if she would return, but how and when. Because in the space left behind by her suspension, a new narrative began to form. Would Sha'Carri Richardson rise again? Faster, fiercer, and bolder? Or had the weight of controversy changed her forever? The suspension had passed, but Sha'Carri Richardson's return to the track was anything but smooth. The years 2021 and 2022 became a proving ground, filled with moments of brilliance and frustrating inconsistency. In her first race back, the Prefontaine Classic, August 2021, all eyes were on her. But instead of triumph, Sha'Carri finished last in 11.14 seconds, far from the 10.86 that once electrified America. Critics pounced. The same voices that had hailed her as the future of sprinting now questioned whether she had peaked too soon, or worse, whether she would ever recover. 2022 offered little relief. At the USATF Outdoor Championships in June, Sha'Carri failed to advance beyond the heats in both the 100 meters and 200 meters, missing out on Worlds in Eugene. For many, it was proof that the Olympic disappointment had marked the end of her rise. But for Sha'Carri, it was simply another obstacle to be broken down, brick by brick. Behind the scenes, she rebuilt from the ground up. Her days became cycles of rigorous speed drills, endurance training, and technical refinement, matched by evenings of reflection and mental preparation. Her grandmother, Betty Harp, remained her cornerstone. Through setbacks and silence, Betty's guidance grounded her in patience, faith, and the discipline to wait for her breakthrough. Even in struggle, her charisma and influence kept her in the public eye. Nike stood firm in its support, and Beats by Dre launched a campaign featuring her unapologetic voice, branding her as the face of resilience. Sha'Carri herself refused to fade. Each tweet, each statement carried the same defiance she showed on the track, reminding the world that she was far from done. Then came 2023. From her first outings, something was different. Sharper drive, cleaner mechanics, and a fire that seemed reignited. In May 2023, she clocked 10.76 seconds in the 100 meters at the Doha Diamond League, announcing her comeback in bold fashion. Suddenly, whispers of a return became declarations of intent. Momentum carried her to the World Athletics Championships in Budapest. The stage was set, the fastest women on earth, the brightest lights, and Sha'Carri in lane 9, ready to silence doubt once and for all. When the gun fired, she surged forward with flawless acceleration. Her stride was effortless, her focus razor sharp, each step carving a path toward redemption. The clock stopped at 10.65 seconds, a world championship record, and the gold medal was hers. Sha'Carri Richardson had just become the world's fastest woman. The moment was electric. She screamed in triumph, embraced her team, and let years of frustration, criticism, and doubt fall away in a single victory. This was not just a medal, it was validation, proof that perseverance, discipline, and self-belief could overcome even the most public of setbacks. Her sponsors responded in kind. Nike, Beats, and new partners like Athleta expanded their backing, tying her brand to resilience, authenticity, and unmatched flair. Culturally, her win reverberated beyond sport. Sha'Carri Richardson became a symbol of second chances, inspiring young athletes to believe that one stumble does not define a career. The Budapest Gold wasn't just redemption, it was a full circle moment. A young sprinter once written off had risen again, faster, fiercer, and undeniable. The roar of Budapest crowned her the fastest woman alive. But the journey wasn't finished. Ahead lay an even bigger stage, the Paris 2024 Olympics, where the world would watch to see if Sha'Carri Richardson could carry her brilliance onto the sport's grandest stage. The road to Paris began in June 2024 in the US Olympic trials. Standing on the track in Eugene, Sha'Carri exploded from the blocks, storming to victory in 10.71 seconds, the fastest time in the world that year. The win wasn't just qualification, it was confirmation. Sha'Carri was going to the Olympics, her first, carrying the weight of expectation and the promise of redemption on the global stage. When the women's 100 meters final arrived in Paris, the stadium pulsed with anticipation. All eyes locked on Richardson, her signature orange nails glinting under the floodlights. The gun fired. She launched forward with precision, surging stride for stride against Jamaica's Shericka Jackson and the world's best sprinters. At the line, it was silver. Sha'Carri clocked 10.72 seconds, finishing second by a hair. Disappointment? Maybe, but for Sha'Carri, it was validation. She was now an Olympic medalist. Days later, redemption came in golden form. Anchoring the US 4x100 relay, she blazed the final stretch, crossing the line first as America reclaimed sprinting dominance. An Olympic gold and silver in Paris, the kind of breakthrough that rewrites narratives. Sha'Carri Richardson had arrived not just as a star, but as an Olympian for the ages. The following year brought new challenges. Entering the 2025 season as the reigning world champion, Sha'Carri faced the weight of expectation heavier than ever. Early races showed struggle. She fought injuries, battled rhythm, and at times couldn't break the 11-second barrier. Doubt whispered again. Was her peak behind her? Yet the calendar circled one date in red, the 2025 World Athletics Championships in Tokyo. As defending champion, Richardson held an automatic place in the 100 meters. The world wondered, could she defend her crown? Sha'Carri Richardson's journey has never been just about medals. It is about resilience, audacity, and refusing to let failure define the finish line. Her vibrant hair, fearless words, and unfiltered confidence turned her into more than a sprinter. She became a cultural force. On social media and in stadiums worldwide, she carries representation for Black women and the LGBTQ+ community, inspiring a generation that sees in her a voice of defiance and pride. From suspension to redemption, from doubt to world champion and Olympic medalist, her story proves that greatness is not the absence of setbacks, but the power to rise after them. And as the lights now shine on Tokyo, her legacy already feels secure. Whether victory or defeat, she has carved her place as one of the most influential figures in modern track and field. Sha'Carri Richardson has not only run with unmatched speed, she has redefined what it means to be a champion.